The world's richest man didn't expect this. During a global tech and leadership summit, Elon Musk spoke about innovation, space, and the future. But it was Captain Ibrahim Traoré's response that stole the spotlight. With just one powerful message, Traoré left Musk speechless, and millions inspired. This isn't just a viral moment, it's a statement the world will never forget. In an international event broadcast live from Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim Traoré was about to make an announcement that would be seen by millions of people around the world. He had carefully planned his words, knowing that his speech would not only represent his country, but also challenge some of the most influential figures on the planet, including Elon Musk, who had recently made provocative comments about African leaders and their technological pretensions. Meanwhile, in the United States, Elon Musk watched the broadcast in his futuristic office at SpaceX. He had publicly mocked efforts by countries like Burkina Faso to develop technology locally, calling them naive and disconnected from reality. For him, technological progress could only be achieved with billions of dollars in investment and advanced infrastructure, something that in his view African countries simply did not have. However, as he watched the screen, Musk noticed that Traoré looked different from other leaders he had previously criticized. There was something about his calm, confident posture that piqued his curiosity. "Ladies and gentlemen," began Traoré, his firm voice echoing through the packed auditorium, "today I want to talk about something that goes beyond the borders of our country. I want to talk about true innovation." He paused dramatically, looking directly into the camera as if he were speaking personally to each viewer. Innovation isn't about having the most expensive resources or the most advanced technologies. It's about solving real problems with creativity and determination, and here in Burkina Faso, we're proving that every day. Musk frowned, surprised by the clarity and depth of the message. He expected to hear fiery speeches or direct accusations, but Traoré's tone was different. It was respectful, but firm. Traoré continued, now showing images of local projects in Burkina Faso, entire villages lit by solar energy, smart irrigation systems that doubled agricultural production, and young programmers developing apps to solve local challenges. "And so," Traoré said, his voice gaining intensity, "I'd like to send a special message to those who doubt our ability to innovate, to those who think we need billions of dollars to change our lives." He paused again, allowing his words to sink in before continuing. "We want to remind you of something important. True transformation does not come from great fortunes or imported technologies. It comes from the dignity and ability of a people to solve their own problems." Musk felt a shiver run down his spine. He knew that message was directed at him. After watching Ibrahim Traoré's speech, Elon Musk remained silent for several minutes, reflecting on the Burkina Faso president's words. He couldn't stop thinking about Traoré's final message. True transformation does not come from great fortunes or imported technologies. It comes from the dignity and ability of a people to solve their own problems. Those words echoed in his mind, challenging his beliefs about innovation and development. Musk has always believed that technological advances required billions of dollars in investment and sophisticated infrastructure. However, the examples Traoré presented, solar power in remote villages, smart irrigation systems, and young programmers creating local solutions, showed that innovation could be accessible and decentralized. Intrigued, Musk decided to publicly respond to Traoré's speech. He posted a message on his Twitter account, something unusual for him given that he rarely acknowledged public criticism or praise. "Just watched President Traoré's speech," Musk wrote. "Your message was powerful. Perhaps I underestimated what countries, like Burkina Faso, can achieve with creativity and determination. It's time to rethink some things." Musk's statement quickly went viral on social media. Many were surprised to see the billionaire admitting that he had underestimated the innovation capacity of African nations. Hashtags like "Jin Musk reconnaît Trum limits" began circulating widely, highlighting the impact of Traoré's words. Meanwhile, in Burkina Faso, Traoré watched Musk's response with a discreet smile. He knew this was more than just an exchange of messages. It was a step towards a new form of global collaboration. During a live interview with a local broadcaster, Traoré was asked about Musk's reaction. "Did you expect that answer?" asked the journalist. Traoré shook his head calmly. "I don't work for approval," he said, "but I'm happy that my message touched someone like Mr. Musk. It proves that genuine gestures can transcend borders and change mindsets." The public exchange between Ibrahim Traoré and Elon Musk quickly gained international repercussions. Traoré's message combined with Musk's unexpected response inspired global debates about innovation in the United States. Musk began to rethink his approaches to Africa. During a meeting with his development team at SpaceX, he proposed something innovative, a program called Innovation Without Borders, which aimed to support local technology initiatives in African countries. "I want us to work with leaders like Traoré," Musk told his team, "not to impose our solutions, but to learn from them and collaborate on projects that truly meet local needs." Meanwhile, in Burkina Faso, Traoré launched a campaign called Technology for Dignity. The objective was to empower young Burkinabés to develop technological solutions to specific problems in their communities. Local schools began offering programming, robotics, and renewable energy courses, all funded by public resources and international partnerships. In a small rural village, a young girl named Fatou became a living example of the initiative's success. She had developed an app that connected local farmers with urban markets, allowing them to sell their products directly to consumers. "Before, I could barely feed my family," she said during an interview with a local broadcaster. "Now I'm helping other farmers prosper. It's all thanks to President Traoré and Mr. Musk." International media highlighted the program's impact, praising Traoré for his ability to turn criticism into opportunities. Newspapers and magazines have published articles emphasizing how leaders can use their position to inspire positive change. Traoré proved that leadership is not about power or status, wrote a columnist for the New York Times. It's about recognizing the value of each individual and acting with humility and purpose. The bond between Traoré and Musk, although kept at arm's length by TV and social media, has become a global symbol of collaboration and mutual inspiration. For many, this was more than a moment of recognition. It was proof that gestures of kindness can unite people from different parts of the world. During a visit to a village benefiting from the program, Traoré met a child named Mamadou, who had received school uniforms and supplies thanks to resources sent by international partners. She approached Shilly, holding a new notebook she had received. "Mr. President," she said, her voice shaking with emotion, "this is for you. I wanted to show you that we are using what we have been given to learn." Traoré smiled, deeply touched. "You don't just owe it to us, Madou. You're proving that when we give people the right tools, they can conquer the world." The scene was widely publicized on social media, further reinforcing the message that small gestures can generate big changes. For many observers, this was more than a political triumph. It was a demonstration that genuine leadership involves inspiring and empowering people to act with dignity and purpose. In the months following the public exchange between Ibrahim Traoré and Elon Musk, Burkina Faso began to reap the rewards of this innovative approach. The idea of building dialogues between global leaders and local communities has not only strengthened international relations but also fostered a new era of collaboration based on mutual respect. During a special ceremony organized in the center of Ouagadougou, hundreds of people gathered to celebrate the advances achieved by the Technology for Dignity program. Among those present were young programmers, farmers benefiting from technological solutions, and even international journalists who followed the story from the beginning. Ibrahim Traoré took the stage simply wearing traditional Burkinabe clothes. He looked at the crowd, visibly moved to see so many lives transformed by the project. "Today," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "we are not here just to celebrate numbers or public policies. We are here to honor those who built this country with their hands and minds. You are the true pillars of Burkina Faso." He paused, allowing his words to sink in before continuing. "When I spoke with Mr. Musk," continued Traoré, "he made me reflect on something important, that genuine gestures can transcend political, cultural, and even personal differences. And now we're proving it together." At the end of the ceremony, a child gave Traoré a small gift, a handmade wooden sculpture representing two human figures holding hands. Inside it was engraved the phrase, "Kindness unites worlds." Traoré smiled, keeping the gift with him. He knew this was more than just a memory. It was a reminder that every act of kindness could create big changes. As the crowd began to disperse, Traoré walked up to a family that had been one of the first beneficiaries of the program. He bent down to talk to a girl of about 8 years old, who was holding a makeshift doll made of cloth. "How are you adapting to your new life?" he asked, smiling. The girl looked at him shyly but soon replied, "I'm learning at school, Mr. President, and now I can dream." Traoré smiled, touched by the simplicity and sincerity of the answer. He knew that this was the true measure of the project's success. It was not just the resources distributed, but the lives transformed. Observing the scene, a journalist wrote in his notebook, "Today in Burkina Faso, I saw the future of an Africa that values its history, honors its heroes, and builds bridges of dignity for all." Traoré and Musk's story quickly became a global symbol of how compassion and respect can transform lives. For many, this was more than a political triumph. It was a demonstration that genuine leadership involves recognizing the value of each individual and acting with humility and purpose. Back in the United States, Elon Musk watched everything with growing admiration. During a live interview, he was asked again about Traoré. "This man is something special," Musk admitted, surprising the audience. "He's proving he can do things on his own. Maybe I underestimated him." Musk's statement was widely publicized, further reinforcing the message that gestures of kindness and genuine leadership can unite people from different parts of the world. Fatou walked slowly towards the community center, his heart heavy with the news he brought. She had traveled all the way from Bobo Dioulasso to meet Marie and Malik, knowing that the moment would be decisive. Upon entering the building, she saw Marie coordinating the final details of the event. Tears streamed down Marie's face as she spoke, on the phone, but she maintained her composure upon seeing Fatou. "She's here," Marie whispered into the phone, her voice breaking. "It's coming in now." Malik, still wearing his torn sweater, walked over to greet Fatou. He could feel the weight of the situation just by looking at her. "Thanks for coming," Marie said, trying to offer an encouraging smile. "We know how hard this is for you." Fatou nodded, his hands shaking slightly. "I needed to be here," she said, her voice barely audible. "I needed to see with my own eyes what you are building." Marie guided Fatou to a private room where documents and maps were spread out on a table. Malik remained silent, but his eyes reflected concern and solidarity. "Fatou," Marie began, her voice soft but firm, "we know the future feels uncertain right now, but we want you to know you're not alone. We're all here to support you." Fatou looked at the two, feeling a mixture of gratitude and fear. "What will happen to me and my family?" she asked, her voice shaking. Marie sighed deeply before responding. "We can't promise it will be easy," she said, "but we can guarantee that you will have access to all the tools and resources you need to rebuild your life. This center exists for exactly that, to help people like you find strength and hope again." Malik intervened, placing a gentle hand on Fou's shoulder. "You've already shown a lot of courage just coming here," he said. "That's more than a lot of people could do." Fatou took a deep breath, feeling a slight sense of relief begin to wash over her. She knew the road ahead would be challenging, but for the first time in weeks she felt like maybe there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Meanwhile, outside, other members of the community began arriving for the event organized by Marie and Malik. The center was packed with people seeking support, inspiration, and connection. On the makeshift stage, Marie gave an emotional speech to the crowd. "Today," she said, her voice echoing through the room, "we are here to remember that human dignity is non-negotiable, that regardless of circumstances, each of us deserves to be treated with respect and compassion." She paused, allowing her words to sink in before continuing. "This center wasn't built just by me or Malik. It was built by all of you. By the stories we shared, the struggles we faced together, and the victories we achieved as a community. The crowd erupted in applause while tears ran down the faces of many present. Fatou, watching the speech from inside the private room, felt a wave of emotion invade her. She realized that even in her darkest moments, there was still room for hope and renewal. At the end of the event, Fatou decided to join the others in the main hall. She wanted to meet the people who were struggling and thriving together, inspired by Marie and Malik's work. "Thank you," Fatou said to Marie as they hugged. "I don't know what the future holds, but I know I won't face it alone." Marie smiled, holding Fatou's hands. "We will never be alone." In a world where innovation often overshadows integrity and wealth is mistaken for wisdom, it takes a rare voice to shift the conversation from power to purpose. That voice came from none other than Captain Ibrahim Traoré. At a prestigious global summit attended by political leaders, billionaires, and tech giants, Elon Musk took the stage to share his vision, colonizing Mars, building AI empires, and leading humanity into the future through technology. The audience was mesmerized, many nodding in admiration. But then came Traoré, representing not just Burkina Faso but an entire continent rising with ambition and awareness. Captain Traoré stood and delivered a response that no one expected, but everyone needed to hear. He began not with confrontation but with clarity. "You speak of Mars," he said calmly, "but on Earth children still die from dirty water. You chase AI singularity while our farmers lack basic tools. Progress is not measured by how far we reach into the stars, but by how many we lift from the ground." The room fell silent. Elon Musk, often unshaken, was visibly moved, caught off guard by the direct human-centered truth of Traoré's words. This wasn't an attack on innovation, it was a reminder that while technology may change the future, justice, dignity, and compassion shape the present. Traoré continued, "Africa doesn't need rockets. We need respect. We need partnership, not pity. You want to save humanity? Then start where humanity is hurting the most." The audience erupted in applause, not for spectacle but for sincerity. That moment became the highlight of the summit. Media outlets across the world shared clips of Traoré's speech. Hashtags trended. Headlines read, "The man who stopped Musk in his tracks." But in truth, it wasn't about stopping Musk. It was about waking up the world. And that's exactly what happened. Elon Musk later approached Traoré privately, reportedly acknowledging the impact of his words and expressing interest in contributing to sustainable projects in Africa. Whether those promises materialize or not, the seed was planted. Back in Burkina Faso, the reaction was electric. Traoré's speech was played on national TV, dissected in classrooms, and celebrated in music and art. Youth saw in him a leader who wasn't afraid to speak truth to power, not with anger, but with conviction. And that's the mark of real leadership. Traoré didn't speak for applause, he spoke for accountability. In a room full of ambition, he brought perspective. In a world obsessed with the future, he reminded us of the now. Because while billionaires look to the stars, Captain Ibrahim Traoré looks to the soil, to the roots of humanity that have been ignored for too long. And in doing so, he reminded the world that Africa doesn't need saving. It needs a seat at the table, or better yet, it's building its own.